Hello, English learners. Welcome back to Slow English Listening. Many learners say English is too fast. They hear words, but they do not understand. This is normal. Do not worry. Today's video is Slow English Listening. Anne Frank, the girl who wrote Hope in Darkness. This story is not only about English, it is also about courage. You will hear how a young girl, living in hiding during a terrible time, wrote words that gave hope to the world. Every slow English story is carefully written for beginners. Short sentences, clear words, step by step. By the end, you will understand more English and feel more inspired. So subscribe, activate the bell, and come back every day. Now, let's begin the moving story of Anne Frank. Anne Frank was born in Germany in 1929. She lived in Frankfurt with her family. Her father was Otto Frank. Her mother was Edith Frank. Anne had one sister. Her sister's name was Margot. Anne was a happy child. She loved to play. She loved to laugh. She loved to talk with friends. Anne talks too much, her teacher said. But Anne did not care. She was full of life. The Frank family was Jewish. In 1933, things changed in Germany. A man named Hitler came to power. Hitler did not like Jewish people. Life became dangerous for Jewish families. Otto Frank was worried. "We must leave Germany," he told his wife. "We must find a safe place for our daughters." In 1934, the Frank family moved to Amsterdam. Amsterdam is in the Netherlands. The Netherlands was a peaceful country. Anne was 5 years old. Anne liked her new home. She went to school, she made new friends, she learned to speak Dutch. Dutch is the language of the Netherlands. "I love Amsterdam," Anne said to her sister. "The people are kind here." Anne was a normal girl. She played with dolls, she rode her bicycle, she went to the movies with friends. Life was good for the Frank family. Otto Frank started a new business. He sold spices and herbs. The family lived in a nice apartment. They felt safe in Amsterdam. Anne grew up. She became a teenager. She had many friends. She loved to write. She wrote letters. She wrote stories. Writing made Anne happy. "One day, I want to be a writer," Anne told her father. "You can be anything you want," Otto said. "You are smart and strong." But in 1940, everything changed again. In May 1940, German soldiers came to the Netherlands. They took control of the country. Hitler's army was everywhere. The soldiers made new rules for Jewish people. Jewish children could not go to regular schools. Jewish families could not own businesses. Jewish people had to wear yellow stars on their clothes. "Why must we wear these stars?" Anne asked her father. "Because some people think we are different," Otto said, "but we are not different. We are human beings, like everyone else." Life became very hard. Anne could not go to her old school. She could not go to the movies. She could not ride her bicycle in the park. In July 1942, Margot received a letter. The letter said she must go to a work camp in Germany. But Otto knew the truth. It was not a work camp. It was a place where Jewish people died. "We must hide," Otto told his family. "I have prepared a secret place." Otto had been planning for months. Behind his office building, there was a secret apartment. It was hidden behind a bookcase. No one could see it from the outside. The Frank family packed quickly. They could not take much. Anne took her diary. She had received the diary for her 13th birthday. It was her most important thing. They moved to the secret hiding place. It was called the Secret Annex. 8 people lived there: the Frank family, another family called the Van Pels, and a man named Fritz Pfeffer. The secret annex was small. Anne shared a room with Fritz Pfeffer. She did not like this. She wanted her own space. "I must be very quiet," Anne wrote in her diary. "During the day, people work in the office below. If they hear us, we will be caught. Life in hiding was hard. They could not go outside. They could not make noise during the day. They could only whisper. Anne missed her friends. She missed school. She missed her old life. When will this war end?" she asked her mother. "Soon, I hope," Edith said, but no one knew when. Anne felt lonely in the secret annex. She had no friends her age. She could not talk to other teenagers, so she talked to her diary. "Dear Kitty," Anne wrote. She called her diary Kitty. Kitty was her imaginary friend. Anne wrote in her diary every day. She wrote about her feelings. She wrote about her hopes. She wrote about her dreams. "I want to be a writer," Anne wrote. "I want to tell stories that help people. I want to make the world better." Even in hiding, Anne kept her hope. She believed good things would happen. She believed the war would end. "I still believe people are good," Anne wrote. "Even after all the terrible things that happen, I believe most people have the kind hearts." Anne wrote about the other people in the secret annex. Sometimes they argued. Sometimes they were sad. Sometimes they laughed together. "Living together is not easy," Anne wrote, "but we are a family now. We help each other survive." Anne also wrote about growing up. She was becoming a young woman. She had questions about life. She had questions about love. "I wonder what my life will be like after the war," she wrote. "Will I go to university? Will I fall in love? Will I become a famous writer?" Anne dreamed of traveling the world. She wanted to see Paris. She wanted to see London. She wanted to meet other writers. "One day I will write a book about this time," Anne wrote. "I will tell the world what happened here. I will make sure people remember. The people helping them brought news from outside. The news was often bad. Many Jewish people were taken away. Many people died in the war." But Anne did not lose hope. "After the rain comes sunshine," she wrote. "After winter comes spring. After this war will come peace." Anne wrote about small, beautiful things. She wrote about a tree she could see from her window. She wrote about birds singing. She wrote about books she read. "Even in the darkest times, there is beauty," she wrote. "We must look for it. We must remember it." For more than 2 years, Anne wrote in her diary. Her words were full of life. Her words were full of hope. Her words showed that her spirit was strong. On August 4th, 1944, something terrible happened. Police found the secret annex. Someone had told them about the hiding place. All 8 people were arrested. They were sent to concentration camps. These were places where the Nazis sent Jewish people. Anne and her sister Margot were sent to a camp called Bergen-Belsen. Life in the camp was horrible. There was little food. There was no medicine. Many people became sick. In early 1945, Anne and Margot died. They were only 15 and 19 years old. They died just a few weeks before the war ended. Otto Frank was the only person from the secret annex who survived. When he came back to Amsterdam, he was heartbroken. His wife and daughters were gone. Miep Gies was one of the helpers. She had saved Anne's diary. She gave it to Otto. Otto read Anne's diary. He cried, but he also felt proud.
Anne's words were beautiful. Anne's words were wise. Anne's words needed to be shared. The world must read this, Otto said. Anne wanted to be a writer. Now she can be. In 1947, Otto published Anne's diary. He called it The Diary of a Young Girl. People around the world read Anne's story. Anne's diary was translated into many languages. Millions of people read it. They learned about the war. They learned about Anne's courage. Anne's words teach us about hope, readers said. Even in the darkest times, we must not give up. Anne's diary became one of the most famous books in the world. Schools teach about Anne Frank. Museums tell her story. The secret annex became a museum. People from every country visit. They want to see where Anne lived. They want to remember her story. Anne Frank did not live to see peace, but her words brought peace to many hearts. Her diary shows that one person can make a difference. I want to be useful after my death, Anne had written, and she was. Her words still inspire people today. Anne dreamed of being a famous writer. Her dream came true, not in the way she imagined, but in a more powerful way. Today, when people face difficult times, they remember Anne Frank. They remember her courage. They remember her hope. Anne's voice lives forever in her diary. Her message is simple but strong. Choose hope. Choose kindness. Choose to believe in the goodness of people.
This is the story of Anne Frank, a young girl who wrote hope in darkness. Anne's diary teaches us two important lessons. First, words have power. They can survive when we cannot. Second, hope can live even in the hardest times. The more you listen, the more you understand. And the more you hear real inspiring stories, the stronger you feel. Come back every day for another slow English story. Each story will help your English grow. Each story will inspire your heart. Subscribe, activate the bell, like this video, and share with friends. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow for another inspiring story. Remember Anne's words. In spite of everything, I still believe people are really good at heart. Goodbye and keep learning.